Florida State had an absolute defensive debacle on Saturday against Louisville, including this long play and a few others, and we're going to break a few of the early ones down on this video and what went wrong for the Florida State defense. So we're going to go ahead and start here by looking at this long play by Atwell. So this is a basic, everybody runs it, 4 wide, what we used to call rifle formation with the back in the backfield shotgun. So standard stuff, and Florida State matches up with a 3rd down and long package, which is an odd front, so 3 defensive linemen. So you got 1, 2, 3 here, 3 backers, and then they actually have 4 corners on the field. So they took a safety off the field, and here you have Jerrion Jones, you've got Asante Samuel Jr., you've got Brownlee, and then you've got Dent. So you got 4 corners on this play, and then a single safety in the middle of the field. That's Woody there. And from that point, all you're going to see is a basic man-free coverage. So these guys are man across the board, and then they're bringing pressure. So they've decided in this game that they want to bring some pressure and force the issue with Louisville to see if they can get to the quarterback and change some things at that point. So this is what a lot of fans have really been wanting from Florida State. A bunch of blitzing, a lot more of a pressure focus and all of that. So from that perspective, this is kind of what Florida State fans have wanted to see. Against Louisville, I think this is a bad idea, quite frankly, and that's because of who this dude is. This is Tutu Atwell, who is one of the 3 or 4 fastest players in the United States, or at least in the college ranks, and you're going to be asking Brownlee, who's a good player, don't get me wrong, Brownlee is a good player, but he is not a mid 100-meter guy who can run with Atwell. And so you're giving him in the slot a 2-way go in man-to-man, meaning Atwell can go here or he can go here. And he's going to have to cover both directions. And he can also go, which is what we see, straight across the field. So he's having to play man-to-man. And since he's got middle help here, the primary thing he's going to be most worried about is this one. He's going to be worried about him going to the outside and beating him over the top. So that's going to be the concern. So if you're going to match up this way, in my view, what you want to do is instead of doing what they do here, which is bring the blitz, and they bring a little twist in the backers, and Louisville does a good job of picking it up. They get there way too late. Instead of doing that, what I'd like to see is if you want to bring 5, that's fine. Don't bring 6, though. I think what you want to do is you want to bring 5 and then drop your 6th, knowing that Atwell is here. You have to figure, look, this guy can at least play over the top here and handle him there. I know I've got my post coverage here, so he can handle that over the top there. The place where I'm vulnerable is on any in-breaking route where, because he's got to worry about potentially just getting run by on the deep stuff, the in-breaking route is the real problem. And this is what they have here. All they did is an out here, and out here, and in here, and an in here. So this is a really, really simple concept for Louisville. And the problem is that if you're Brownlee, you have to honor that deep threat. So when he steps on your toes here, you have to worry about that. You have to kind of step outside, you get your balance off, and then all of a sudden you are trailing here, and you've got no chance. If the ball's put on target, there's 0 chance that you can catch up from there. So let's take a look at it. There's your little roll, and you notice all he had to do is threaten, go deep, and then roll. So he's just stepping on his toes a little bit and then roll inside. And Brownlee he's got inside leverage, and he's got to protect that leverage. But the problem is he's so worried about getting beat over the top that he's already trying to speed turn to the outside before he gets to 10 yards. And now he's got the balance in the wrong place, and he's running across the field. And really, what you've got to do if you're Brownlee is, if you'll notice, the safety is playing really deep here to try to take anything over the top. If you're going to play it this way, the corner has to play a hard inside leverage. You have to hedge everything inside out. That corner has to make sure that you're going to stick on the leverage, and if they're going to beat me, they're going to beat me out here, and I'm going to trust that I've got some safety help. Instead, gets leaning, and you got no chance. Now, again, if you play this as more of a robber, or you take one of the guys that you rushed, and you drop him to where the sticks are here, you should have a hole player here. And that prevents any chance of this happening. And then if the quarterback scrambles, you have a built-in spy as well. That would be my preference for this kind of situation, because then you never end up in a situation where you've got Tutu Atwell running across the field. And you can see, I mean, this is Asante Samuel here, and he realizes right there is zero shot I have of catching this guy. Brownlee has an angle gets erased. Woody barely catches him and then tries to commit a personal foul penalty here at the end by pushing him. Lucky he didn't go down. But this is just, you've got no shot here. If you're gonna play inside leverage, you have to protect your inside leverage. You cannot let him inside you. And if you're going to play this coverage at all, I think you want to have an inside hole player. I think that's a mistake by Florida State staff in terms of scheming based on personnel. Scheme-wise, that holds up. Based on personnel, I don't think you're going to win that matchup most of the time. All right, here's the touchdown. So this is just straight outside zone. This is what Louisville does. This is their bread and butter. This is what they run. You've been repping this in practice all week. So now what you've got to do, everybody's going to step left. And what you have to do is maintain your gap integrity. You've got to maintain where you're going to be covering while not washing down the line of scrimmage too big to give big gaps. So that's what you want. And this is actually pretty good from Josh Kando on the edge. He actually compresses this enough, and he's getting held like a mug right there. So he's getting bear hugged, and you can see he's trying to get off, but you've got the hand on the back of the shoulder. That probably should have been called. But they let holding go a ton these days. So you can't depend on that. But he gets penetration here and forces the ball inside. That's actually okay. This is okay from Marvin Wilson. He compresses the line of scrimmage, walks that down. That's okay too. Linebacker. So Wilson's going to have as the one technique, Wilson is going to be in this A-gap. The linebacker is going to be right here, and Kando is going to be here, and he kind of compresses it in here. So that's okay. Backer has to be the next guy. So Backer's in position. All right. Maybe just a little bit. Backer needs to flow over the top just a little bit better. So this backer needs to be over the top just a little bit. He gets outflanked by the guard who steps left further. So the backer needs to be approaching this so that he can get over the top and then come in from this direction, as opposed to, you see how the lineman is able to hook him here? That backer should not be hooked. The backer needs to be in the B gap here. He needs to be over the top more. So he's a little bit out of position. He's got, the thing to do here is he has to actually scrape horizontally faster, knowing that this is a fast flow, and work his way in. The real problem here, though, is at the safety spot. So you get a little bit of a pin of the backer. The safety here is in support position, and he should be the cleanup guy who has any additional, he's what you call secondary support. He should have any cleanup coming from on the outside zone, coming from the inside out, or from the outside in. So he should be coming here and cleaning up here. He should never let anything get to where he has to chase it this way. That's his job, is he has to maintain his leverage, run the alley, and make the tackle there. That's what he should be doing. If you notice, what happens is they flow down the line of scrimmage so fast, and he's looking in here. But that's not where his gap is. That's not where he should be looking, because he's got backside support here. He should have backside support from this backer, from this defensive lineman, from this defensive end. All of that cutback stuff should be on other players. He should be in this spot. He needs to be coming down the line of scrimmage and playing it outside in. Instead, he stops his feet and he looks inside because he's watching the back. The back is coming in this way first, and you see him stop his feet and look in here, that's where his eyes are. He's watching the running back. Eyes on the running back. He should be watching his key and hitting his gap as the secondary defender out here to ensure that if the back pops, he can't pop into his space. If he pops in here, that's on somebody else. If he pops out here, that's on you. Well, he gets out of position. The back is faster than him, and it's a touchdown. Straightforward. That's just a poor angle from the safety. Not the best fit from the linebacker. And even though the defensive line actually played this pretty well, secondary support was not there, and it winds up being a touchdown. That's just poor. All right, let's go ahead and move to the next thing. So now we get this play, and this is atrocious. This is straightforward stuff from Florida State here. Louisville is in an unbalanced situation where they have 3 receivers to this side, an H-back to this side or in the linebacker spot, and then the running back to this side, or in the pistol. So there's no receivers to this side. Now you have a corner on this side, and so now you're going to do what's called what Nick Saban calls a Big 12 blitz. You're going to bring that extra edge guy, the defender from the edge here, as a secondary support player. He's a chase player in the running game, and so that's what he's going to do. Now he's got 2 responsibilities. His first responsibility is he's got the quarterback on any boot. So if you have any sort of thing coming this way, if the run goes this way and the quarterback turns to hand it, he's got to make sure he takes the quarterback first and then chase the play down from behind. That's his job. If the play comes to his side, then he's primary outside contain. So you're going to have there and then outside contain. His job is to make sure that nothing ever comes out to the sideline here. That's his job. Everybody else, this is basic stuff. They've adjusted the front over. So you have your 3 technique, your end, your fox on the edge, and one of your backers who's going to kind of work back to this gap if they run back there. But they're adjusted over, as you would expect, to this alignment. That's okay. Now, if you look at it coming off, you're going to see, again, outside zone to the right. This is their bread and butter. Now, I want to freeze it here. This is already absolutely horrible, horrible, horrible technique from the corner here, whose job, remember, his first job is the quarterback on any boot. If he has action going away, your job, son, is right there. Your eyes should be there, and you need to make sure that as you're coming off the edge, you're coming wide enough to make sure that if he is booting, that you can take that away. So if he comes here, you need to cut that off. And then once you're clear, once he's turned, and you see if this was a boot, look at all that green grass. There is no one out there because the corner is just chasing. Corner's responsible for the quarterback. So if this is a run from the quarterback, this could he might still be running. Instead, you're chasing straight down the line, and you're chasing on the same angle that the end is. The end has this angle. That's where he's supposed to be. 27, Dent, is supposed to be here first. And then, so he should be angled. His body should basically be right here right now, coming toward the quarterback. And then in the next frame right here, he should be right there. That's where 27 should be. He should be right here. That's where he should be located. This is really poor. Because he's right here, when the back gets stacked up, and by the way, once again, this is good from Josh Kando. He compresses the tackle so far that he creates a pile up in the backfield. This is an easy tackle for loss if this is played correctly. So if you're here, if he's playing this correctly, if he's where he should be and he's right here, now you can close down. Let's do this again. Now you can close down from that position, finish the play, and you have a 4-yard loss. Instead, because he's up here, when the back turns, and by the way, the rule of thumb here, the rule that you have for the outside guy here is that you play his shoulder, his backfield shoulder here. So his aiming point, he should be right here, and his aiming point should be the backside shoulder. And the reason for that is if he spins out, you still have him. Well, he spins out, and because of the poor angle, now you've got no shot, and this turns into a long run. And the sad part about this, if you're the defensive coordinator and if you're the defensive coaching staff, is you had the right call. You have a player in Kendo who makes a really, really good play. I mean, that's an NFL play from Kendo, gets his hand on him. You have, this is a little too tight from Janarius, but that's okay. If you've got the support here, you're all right. You have the backer who's triggered into the hole. He's in the right spot. You have Wilson, who's done his job on the backside. Not the best job from Durden on the front side, but, one guy gets beat here on the front. Everybody else is okay. One guy not doing his job leads to a 70-yard touchdown. And this is something that should be in your pursuit drill during the week. You should be working. This is one of their main concepts. You should know that they're going to run outside zone with boot off of it. You should be knowing that your job is to come here and then pursue from that angle. This is something that should be repped at least 2 days of practice coming into this week. I don't know what they repped, but it didn't seal in. You got to get that fixed, or you're going to see a lot more of this over the course of the year. This is really unacceptable if you're the Florida State coaching staff, and if you're Florida State fans, you've got to be livid just seeing this.